Hello, this is Photography Gamer, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm reviewing The Long Dark for the PS4. The Long Dark is a first-person survival game developed by Hinterland Studio. You play as a pilot who crash lands in the Canadian wilderness amidst a global disaster. There are 3 game modes: Wintermute, which is an episodic story comprised of 3 episodes, with 2 more to come at a later date. You've got a survival mode and also a challenge mode. The story revolves around you having to take a mysterious package to Great Bear, an isolated community in the harsh wilderness. But what is the game like to play? Well, the game has a very hard start. Within 5 minutes you're going to die, then you'll die again, and then you're going to die again. But after a while you'll figure out how to set up your campfire, sleep, melt snow and find food to eat. It's probably the most unforgiving start to a game I've experienced in any survival game, but this is the most realistic survival game I've played, so it is to be expected. The gameplay on the whole is slow and thoughtful. You have to consider lots of different factors while trying to survive. You've got to protect against the cold and monitor your body's temperature, so starting fires and warming up your body is an essential daily task. You need energy to survive the elements, so food and water are essential. You'll need to find medical supplies so that you can bandage injuries, and you've got to be careful not to fall off ledges because you can easily die of internal injuries. The nights are cold and harsh, so you need to find shelter, otherwise you're going to freeze to death. But for the vast majority of the game, you'll be scavenging. You'll explore abandoned towns, buildings, cars on the roadside, frozen bodies in caves, and anything you can find you need to use. Your character can customize their clothing as they find new pieces. You don't start out with a weapon, but you can find them as you progress. For example, you can find a rifle which will really help you fend off the wolves or when you're hunting for food. The main enemy in the game is the weather, and it's cold and harsh, but there are other creatures out in the wild, such as wolves for example. The wolves have morale, and if you fight back, they won't be as cocky when confronting you next time. But after a while, the overall morale of the wolves will raise again and they'll become more boisterous. You know, it just recreates the elements of survival in a really brutal, harsh way and very realistic. You know, like when you find a tin of pork and beans in this game and you warm it up by the campfire and eat it, you feel like you won the lottery, because it's like food is like absolute treasure in this game. And it's just one of the most grounded and realistic survival games that I've played. Graphically, the game has a very nice art style. It has this kind of half cel shaded quality, and it's reminiscent of games like Firewatch in terms of the visuals. The use of lighting and the day-night cycle work well, but there are some graphical glitches, in particular to do with the distance of objects. Like trees, for example, there was a part where I kept walking forward and backwards and the trees kept going up and down, like it looked weird. It looked like they were being sucked into the earth and pushed out every time I walked forward and back. But apart from that little moment, there wasn't really any other issues that I experienced with the graphics. The in-game music is excellent, but there isn't much of it. It only fades in and out at pertinent moments, but when it does, it really does elevate the experience. The voice acting is very good, and the atmospheric ambience really helps you immerse into the harsh wilderness. Okay, what's good and what's bad? What's good? It's a beautifully balanced and challenging survival experience. The game world feels realistic, as do your interactions with it. The survival systems are complex and they take time to master. The overarching narrative is well written, and it's the most realistic and grounded survival experience I've ever played. What's bad? The game is very unforgiving in the beginning, which may turn off a lot of gamers. There isn't any hand holding and you have to figure most of the things out for yourself. And the game may be a little bit too slow paced for some people. Okay, what's the verdict? The Long Dark is a serious survival game for serious survivalists. The game doesn't hold your hand, and in the beginning it can be frustrating dying all the time. But after a while you'll learn the fundamentals and that will help you survive the journey. But it's very challenging, and for me, I enjoyed it. It's the best survival experience. You know, it's not like other survival games that are only really difficult for 2 hours and then it's just like about chopping trees down and building. The game just keeps you honest. You never really reach a point where you feel 100% safe. All it takes is one bad day and you're in massive trouble. You know, you have an encounter with the wolves, you fall off a ledge, you run out of food or water. Everything is dangerous in the Long Dark, and that's what makes it the best survival game out there. It does take time to get into, but once you get into it, it's a very enjoyable and immersive experience, and I really enjoyed it. So my score for the Long Dark is 8.5 out of 10. Okay, that was the review. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. This is Photography Gamer, signing off. Thank you.